Good morning, sweet prince. How's my golden boy doing today? Hello, everyone. Tiger decided to make an appearance too. He's a little feisty today, as we can all see. So I decided to do a story time today about how I met my roommate and like pretty much just all the tea with that situation and why I moved out here. So to go all the way back, my friend Cassie, who you guys saw in the last video, she is my roommate. It is her and her boyfriend and me and 3 cats. You guys so far have only seen Tiger. I'll try to get enough, get an introduction of all the cats. Tiger's the only one that's really extra. He's just really he's a baby. He's still a kitten and he's kind of quirky and insane. But all the other cats are kind of older, so they don't talk much. But yeah. So, story time. So I met Cassie roughly, I think in June, it'll be 3 years ago, is when we met. And we met at a restaurant that I won't name because I don't want you guys knowing where I live.
But it was a local restaurant, if it helps. It was a Mexican place. You're welcome. That's all the tips I'm gonna give you.
Yeah, so at the time because she remembers meeting me the first day. I unfortunately do not because I'm a horrible friend. I had worked at this job. I'd worked in the mall at a retail store called Route 21 until I had graduated. I graduated high school the same month that place closed. They had filed for bankruptcy over my spring break of senior year when I was 18. At that point, I've been working at this job for 2 years. And I'd pretty much started when I turned 16. It was the first job that called me back. I really didn't want to work there, if we're all being honest here. So I graduated high school, and then within 2 weeks, it was my final day at Rue, and I was panicking. I was freaking out because I was the only person who worked there who did not have anything lined up. So at that point, I just knew that I was unemployed and a fresh high school graduate who was going to go into college in the next fall and just have no money. So that was going to suck. But there was this girl who shopped there all the time. Shout out to China if you're watching. I love you. Please come visit me and Cassie soon. We love you. But China was a regular person who I saw all the time at Rue, especially in the last couple weeks when we had 90% off sales. Everything was on sale. We were selling boxes of hangers for $5. I had really gotten close with China, ironically, because she decided to buy 4 boxes of hangers and did not have any room in her car. So picture 18-year-old me dumping boxes into this girl's back seat. She straight just said, fuck the boxes, I just want the hangers. So I'm just dumping them in there. And we started chatting about how her restaurant needed servers really bad. And I was like, dope. I don't have a fucking job lined up. I'll take it. So after that day at work, I went and got an application and I filled it out real quick. And I went up to the hostess, which come to find out later on was Cassie. I don't remember. I purely don't. But she remembers me, which is really cute. But I go to turn in my application. I talk to the boss, whatever. I'm hired. It instantly on the spot. It was awesome. So the week after Rue closed, I took a week off just to kind of collect myself and learn to live life. And then I started working at this restaurant with Cassie. Well, we worked together. I would say she quit about 6 months into my time there, but every single day we worked together and we just became best friends. Both of us are very comfortable in who we are. So we made it a thing that we were girlfriends, and my boyfriend at the time hated her. It became a running joke throughout the restaurant, and then eventually we just became super tight, and it became a thing as well. But after because we worked every single day. They ran us like slaves over there. It was bad.
I remember at one point I didn't have a day off for 3 weeks. It was awful. But
we worked together all the time, and at night when we'd get off, we would just chill in our car for a little bit, smoke, hang out, and then we'd go to the Denny's across the street, which no longer exists. It was a staple in our friendship. That's what we did every single night because honestly, I miss that job just for the money. If the owners weren't so bad, if the sexual harassment wasn't an issue that nobody ever addressed, I would have stayed there in a heartbeat. I made so much money all the time, and it was great. It was a fun job, and I liked the people I served for the most part. Like, there were a couple people that I just didn't like, but yeah, overall, it was a lot of fun. And like I said, she quit about 6 months in, and I stuck it out a little bit longer. So fast forward some time, pretty much like soon after I had quit, me and her did kind of like we did have a period where we just didn't talk. Like, we did every so often be like, hey, how's it going? You know, but like, we just didn't see each other. We didn't hang out that much. Like, what was going on in my personal life at the time. Like, I was in a very toxic relationship when we met. I had met this kid when I was a senior in high school, and like, we met over the internet. That should tell you all you should know. You don't meet your significant other on the internet. Like, we met on Facebook. Like, I will say it wasn't like a Tinder situation, but you know, it was very toxic. And unfortunately, like, me being naive and me also being 19, just a whole different person back then, I didn't see the signs that it was toxic, and I didn't see kind of the, like, really how bad it got. And you know, I lost a lot of friends over the course of that relationship, purely out of just like, you know, don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. I just lost a lot of friends. Like, that's the tea on that. And Cassie was the only one who stuck around, which I really love her and I appreciate her for it. And like, I've told her about so many times that like, she doesn't realize like the gravity of literally like for most of the time she was my only friend, you know. And like, we've talked about it now, like, since we lived together and stuff. We've talked about how like the time that we didn't talk, it was because she wanted me to figure it out on my own. You know what I mean? So it was like, as a friend, you can only say so much. You can only do so much before, like, you know, but for them to actually take you seriously. And unfortunately for me, I had to find out the hard way. So we'll fast forward to about October of 2019. So like roughly 5-6 months ago, me and her started talking again, and it was pretty serious because at this point I had realized that I had realized that my relationship with this toxic guy had gotten to its breaking point, where it's kind of like, I had already known for a long time that this relationship was over. I didn't really know how to end it, because we had also lived together, but we had moved in together in October of 2018. So like, our lease was going to be up about 5 months ago. So yeah, last October. But I had known about 6 months in with living with him that the relationship was done. It wasn't going to work. It was never going to be what I had pictured in my head is how I thought it would be, which was like, it's a very hard thing to accept, and you have to be honest with yourself and be like, hey, is this really truly making me happy? So, so come October of 2019, I started talking to Cassie again, and I started really being honest with her about like how I felt. And I was just kind of like, you know, I'm struggling. Like, this relationship with him is just not what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be fine. And like, you know, and really, you learn a lot about people when you move in with them. I will always say that before I marry someone, I want to live with them for a year, exactly for this reason. Because like, within a year, you figure out a lot of shit. You figure out a lot of things. But I also had to be real with her too, because I met my current boyfriend around this time as well. So around the time that I was already kind of asking, because I had reached out to Cassie to ask her what to do, basically, because I knew that the lease was about to be up, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna be like, I don't want to move back in with my mom, but I know I'm gonna have to for the time being. Like, it's just not enough time to save for another apartment, and the job I was working at, I was getting paid shit, so I couldn't afford it by myself anyways. And at this time, I had met my current boyfriend, ironically, at work, which we can do another story time about that. I will probably make Chase sit in on that one so he can tell the story with me. Because, so like I had reached out to her in October and I was just telling her like everything that was going on, and then like I had started talking about this like Chase, and I was like, man, like he's everything I ever wanted, but at the same time, like I'm still in a relationship with someone, so like I can't really pursue anything. So I just felt like really trapped, and it was really hard. Like honestly, it was a really like October was not a good month for me. It really wasn't. And what's sad is because I'm a spooky gal, that's my favorite month of the year. So for it to be my favorite month and I'm still going through turmoil kind of sucks. But like I had been real with her, and eventually like me and her talked it out a few days in a row. I had pretty much decided that I was over it with the other one, and I was just like, all right, I need to get out of here. And like that, literally probably 2 or 3 days after I'd been starting to figure things out and like started packing my things, and I got the lease agreement in the mail to renew the lease at the apartment I was living in. And so I basically just had to do it. I just had to be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. This isn't working out. Like, yeah, I just had to be honest, and I broke it off with him. It didn't go well. It was a very rough conversation to have with someone. I just kind of was going through emotions and hoping it would work out, but it never did. And that was a problem, I feel like, for me. And obviously I've grown from that and I've learned, thank God. Otherwise, like this relationship I'm in right now would never have worked out. But yeah, so like me and her started talking again about 5 months ago, and then pretty much from that point on, she had just been telling me to, you know, just come here, just move in, you know, just come in, just move in. And, you know, I always wanted to, but for me, it was hard because she lives 45 minutes away from where my mom is and where like my whole life that I had kind of built was. But I mean, at this point, I already turned that bitch down and flipped it around, put it down and reverse it. So I mean, like, it was okay to just leave at that point. And so, but like at the time I worked retail, like I said, I was a manager. I was the assistant store manager in retail, and I had to basically stick it out through the holidays, unfortunately, because that's the way corporate America works, as much as we don't want to admit it. And yeah, and so soon after the holidays, I just started saving up and I started really like job hunting out here, and I found a job that I really like. Unfortunately, it does not give me enough hours and I'm broke always, but you know, I'm way happier out here. And like obviously me and Chase are still together. I live with my kitty and my best friend, and Chase comes and sees us every weekend, which is great. He's eating my finger right now. But yeah, the moral of the story that I kind of would like to broadcast as well is like through like these past like 5 months, I feel like have been like the biggest growing phase of my life. I feel like, especially like where I was 5 months ago and now, it's kind of like a lifetime looking back. It's so crazy how like sometimes like you feel like you're stagnant in personal growth for a long time, but then like something happens and then you just are constantly like a whole different bean sprout within like 5 months. It's pretty crazy, but like I can't be happier with where I'm at now, to be 100% real. And I had no friends, and now I have like a family here, and it's really great. And also like even in the relationship department, like I can't even tell you how much I appreciate Chase right now. Like he's been here for me through everything, like pretty much since day one, since we met. Like he's really been great. And I just, yeah, I don't even know, honestly. Like I don't want to be that person that like is so like thanks another person for making them who they are today, but like honestly, I do really appreciate him for that, for really like being there and actually caring, and especially like starting off as a friend and then like how we've grown now. Like I just really 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10 relationship. We appreciate it. it's so weird saying that purely because I'm a big believer in nobody got you where you are, you got yourself where you are. But I really feel like the people in my life now have definitely fell in at the best times, especially like with everything that I like dealt with, and it's been great. Like that's it. I just so much gratitude for the people in my life. I just love everybody in my life right now a lot. You guys are all the best. Anyway, yeah. So that's my story time with how I met my roommate and kind of like a watered down, less personal version of like why I moved out here. That's life. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, please like and subscribe, and please comment down below what you would like to see next. I really don't have a good time trying to figure out what to film. So can you like please just leave a suggestion, because it took me a good 4 days to figure out what I wanted to film, and then I changed it up randomly while I was filming this. So